welcome back to another episode of the Winners Work podcast. Today we're going to be discussing our top 25 list. And Carter and I already posted our list on Instagram, but there is two other people on the podcast, who we have no clue what their list is. So we're going to get the live, raw, and uncut reactions to the list, and we're going to definitely have some debates about it. Also, stay tuned for Mason's game at the end. But we're going to start at 25. We're going to make our way up. We'll start with John. John, man, who you got at 25?
At 25, I got Karl Anthony Towns. Might be a little low for some people, but I don't really care. I mean, he's a good player. He's Minnesota's best player. I don't have Anthony Edwards on this list, but I think Anthony Edwards will be their best player by next year easily. But I don't like what he was doing in the playing game in the playoffs. And this isn't the first time he's done this. We saw Clint Capella do the same to him. And Clint Capella is not a defensive 1v1 stopper by any means. So it's just, I don't really know. The underwhelming playoff performances, he could be better if he was better in the playoffs. That's just me. But I get all the regular season stuff, all the great shooting numbers, all the free throw shooting numbers, the efficiency for a big man, all that's great. So he's 25.
All right, valid. Mason, what about you? What's your 25?
I actually left Cat off my list. I think he's the greatest three-point shooter big man ever, but he's not on my top 25 due to his inability to perform in the playoffs. At 25, I got Jaylen Brown. I think he showed that he can be really, really good and that he'll perform in the playoffs, and I like his game a lot. But, my 20 through 30 is, so close. But still, I got Jaylen Brown at 25.
Okay. Carter, what about you?
I do not have Karl Anthony Towns in my top 25 either, nor do I have Jaylen Brown. He's at 20, Cat's at 26. Nor do I have Jaylen Brown. My 25 is different from when I posted my list. It is now Brandon Ingram. I think that in his first playoff series, we can not fully confirm him as a playoff riser, but he's started on that track. He played really well against the 1 seed Phoenix Suns in the playoffs. He's a very, very good scorer. I think his playmaking solid, and he's only moving up.
Oh man, y'all disrespect the hell out of Karl Anthony Towns, man. I don't
Where
know.
did you have
it to himself?
I don't remember your list.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it in a bit, but he's definitely on my top 25. I don't understand how 25 and 10 All NBA, he's one of the top shooters in the league.
Why are you saying All NBA like the competition? He's fighting with Rudy Gobert, bro. Calm down.
Hey, y'all go have Rudy Gobert on the list. Y'all go have Rudy Gobert.
I don't. But I'm saying he's beefing with Gobert and Bam. You act like he's beefing with guys.
Okay.
He's obviously not gonna touch the first two teams. So he's just beefing with Rudy and Bam.
He's better than Rudy and Bam. And
that's what lands him at 25 on the list.
So it's not even a fair contest to go off NBA.
What about it?
All NBA is really offensive based. So I think Cat's gonna get it over Rudy every single time.
I think player ranking
makes it better though.
Hold up. Hasn't Rudy gotten more NBA appearances than Cat?
Has he?
I don't know. I don't know, but we talking right now.
Either way, it works.
I would just.
Hey, they're teammates now anyway. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I don't know. I think offensive, like you said, offensive based. I feel like MVP, all these things. Besides defensive player of the year, it's all offensive based. So
award wise, yeah, and value wise for a player, I agree at every position except for big. I think it gets a lot closer to equally important when you get to the center position.
Interesting.
You have to be able to defend the rim as a big.
Yeah. John left us for the moment, but my 25 is Brandon Ingram. I just think his 3-level scoring ability. It was between him and Jaylen Brown for me for that 25th spot. And really, despite what Jaylen Brown did in the playoffs, going deep in the playoffs, he did have Jason Tatum with him. And I think Brandon Ingram and what he did without Zion Williamson, and he was very, very impressive in the playoffs too. So granted, it was much lower sample size. He only played the first round, but I think what Brandon Ingram showed us this whole season, and particularly in the playoffs too, it was enough for him to make my list. All right, we'll go to 24 now, John. Who you got at 24?
24. I got Darius Garland, man.
Hey,
Darius Garland.
I appreciate it.
I'm very high on Darius Garland. I've been watching an unnormal amount of Cavs games last season because I was betting on them. Garland is really carrying that entire team. No disrespect to the rest of the Cavs players, but they really can't do shit offensively. Besides Levert, who they got at the end of the season, and Sexton, who's injured, and Rubio, who was injured. So Garland was putting the entire team on his back offensively. Defensively, yeah, Jared and Evan put in work, but most of their points is coming from Garland. Mobley, he's shown flashes as a creator, but he's still not that guy yet as a creator. So he really is a great point guard. I expect him to take another leap. He's a great three-point shooter. I don't know what he shoots from the free throw line. I expect it to be good because he's a good shooter. He's a good finisher, elite playmaker. I expect him to jump on the list, but I got him at 24 right now.
Mason, what about you?
At 24, I got Donovan Mitchell.
Oh my God.
This is nuts. This is nuts. All right, go ahead.
No.
Showed that he can be a really good player. I swear to God, I got 24, Donovan Mitchell. Showed that he can lift his game, but that was in the bubble, and everyone wants to call that fake. So he's actually had some rough playoff
Last year was the bubble? What are you talking about? Last year was the bubble? What are you talking about?
No, in the bubble when he killed it, when he went crazy. And yeah, I mean, he was all right last year.
He didn't go crazy the year after. What are you talking about? He was all right. He was backpacking the entire team on good efficiency. What are we talking about? 24 is crazy. Nah, I'm gonna let you go. 24 is crazy, dude.
That's borderline standard, but yeah.
Due to his lack of effort that I see, that's big for me. The fact that he wasn't contesting threes, he was right in front of the playoffs, and he pretty much, if his shots aren't falling, he struggles to contribute the game at all because his playmaking wasn't that great last year, in my opinion, either. But I mean, like I said, my 20 to 30 is so close. Like, if you want to put Donovan Mitchell higher, that's fine. But I have him at 24.
I'm so annoyed because I know he has Rudy Gobert on his list, bro. Like
23 is
really you have Gobert. You have Gobert over Donovan.
We'll get to it.
we go talk about it there. Carter, what you got at 24?
I also have Donovan Mitchell at 24. I think that
real ball knowers.
Y'all are brainwashed.
The biggest thing Mitchell has going for him.
Brainwashed, y'all.
I think the biggest
all
thing
the media tells
Mitchell,
me is to gargle Donovan Mitchell's nuts. What are you talking about?
No, they betrayed y'all. If they told you to gargle his nuts, you know he's better than 24.
That's Ball Sack Sports. That's the media he's talking about. So yeah, you have anything to add on Donovan, Carter?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that people have going for Donovan is the playoff rising. I think in 2020 and 2021 he was phenomenal, but he also has his shortcomings last year against Dallas and 2019. I'm not sure how he was in 2018, but he's had his highs and he's had his lows in the playoffs. So I don't want to label him fully as a playoff riser. I definitely put him positive, but I think that aspect's a bit overrated. And like Mason said, the effort defensively, not great. Also, like Mason said, all these guys are really close. Everyone in this tier for me is like high volume offense, not really doing much defense. But yeah, I have Mitchell at 24.
I mean, I feel you. I don't even know if Mitchell's in this tier though, to be honest. Like that's how I feel about it. We can discuss it in a bit.
Bro, Mitchell is not in Cat's tier. Cat is like, come on, man.
Hey, man. We'll discuss it in a bit. But for me at 24, again, we factored in. I don't know if we said this at the start, but Carter and I, at least for our list, we factored in the past 2 seasons as well because obviously some players are injured and whatnot, and we want to include them. You know, like Kawhi Leonard and my number 24, which is Zion Williamson. I think Zion's an absolute monster. The numbers speak for themselves. He averaged like 27 a game when he was last healthy. He hit on ridiculous efficiency. Granted, a lot of his buckets are like right at the basket, but it takes something to be that dominant inside and still be able to score at a high volume. And his defense, not the best, but I think it can improve. Right now, with and taxing him a little bit because of his durability, I'll put him at 24. But yeah, y'all got. Should we wait a little bit to go on this Donovan Mitchell point, or how should we go?
I wanted to counter so bad.
We can wait till you guys get to Donovan Mitchell.
Okay.
If you guys want to just give your reasoning when y'all get there.
Nah, cool. Yeah.
I got a lot to say on that. But at 23, John, who you got at 23?
At 23, I got Brandon Ingram.
Okay.
Like you guys said, I was very impressed by his season and his playoff run. I've also been watching Pelicans games. I've been betting on Brandon Ingram. Rebounds and assist prop has been cashing a lot because he's a very good playmaker. I think that's very underrated about him. People think he's just like the Jaylen Brown comparison, for example. Like Ingram is a far better passer than Jaylen Brown. And the assist numbers may not show, but if you watch the Pelicans and you watch this Ingram play, like it's not close. Ingram, I would say Tatum is a better passer, but Ingram is far closer to Tatum as a passer than he is Brown. So, and I think he's a very efficient scorer. I think this year his scoring, he only scored like 21 a game this year, but I think we all know that could be higher. He was just facilitating way more to his teammates because he did get improved teammates throughout the year, even though they really took off with CJ. I think Devontae Graham, Herb Jones, Jose, and a couple other guys that they had really stepped up for them. At least tried to. They weren't a great team, but I think he was still the best player. Yeah, they were a fun team, but he was still the best player when CJ came, and he was the best player in the playoffs. The Suns really had no answer for him. They were throwing Crowder, Ingram, Crowder, Bridges, and these are good defenders. They were trying to trap him, and they really had no answer. So I got him at 23.
That's valid. Mason, what about you? Who you got at 23?
At 23, I have everybody's favorite player, Rudy Gobert. One of the greatest defensive players of our generation. One of the greatest defensive centers of all time. And it's unfortunate that the Jazz couldn't give him any perimeter help or use him correctly because with how good he is and how good Donovan Mitchell is, they should have been way better and you'll see it next season with how good they are next to a better system if the Timberwolves coach knows what he's doing at all.
All right, Carter, what about you?
At 23, I have Bradley Beal. I think some people are really low on Beal. I've seen him in the low 20s. The past 2 seasons, he's been healthy. He's put up 30 a game, efficient 30 a game too. Obviously not doing much on the defensive side, but in this group of guys, we're not really looking at that. It's just awesome offensive engine. The only problem for him is that we haven't really seen him in the playoffs recently. Not really his fault, other than that he keeps just taking the bag from Washington and staying in poverty for his entire career. But we don't really have a recent playoff sample size to go off of.
Yeah. I had Bradley Beal at 23 as well. Carter basically said everything I was going to say in terms of his offense. So it doesn't really matter his defense. I want to push back on this Rudy Gobert point for one last time because I know I've done it quite a bit, but I just feel like this dude gets so many passes. It's like in terms of a guy that's considered by you to be top 25, and he's on there purely because of his defense. I don't get why we act like everyone else on the court has to do so much for him to be better on defense or have more team impact on defense. And then when it comes to all these guys that are bringing production on the offensive end, that stands alone. You don't need a point guard to carry someone to score 25, 30 points a game. Barry does what he does on defense, and that's great. But every time the defense struggles, it's got to be everyone else's fault. It's all right, bro, come on.
Gobert is nothing more than a lob threat, and that hurts him, especially in the playoffs. I'm not gonna lie. I was saying before the Mavs series, they need to give Gobert the ball, let him actually do something. And then the next game, they gave Gobert the ball, and I was like, okay, don't do that anymore, actually. But he needs to be pretty much a lob threat. But the reason why I have him so high The reason why I have him so high is because pretty much any team in NBA history, you throw them on that team and they're going to be a top 10 defense. That's how insane that is.
Bro, but they weren't a top 10 defense in the playoffs, bro. And they were like
You can say the same about Robert Williams.
Come on. They weren't a top 10 defense because when you watch it, so basically what was happening is Gobert would be forced to close out because there would be no effort through any of his perimeter players to get through a pick and roll. And then when he closes out, it's automatically a Dallas rebound. But if he doesn't close out, it's an open three. So you're not going to have a top 10 defense. It's impossible no matter who you have if you have zero effort to fight through screens from your perimeter.
So this is the highest anyone. This is the highest anyone has Gobert, right?
No, Carter's still going. Nah, but okay. So if that's the case, then we can't say that you put Rudy Gobert on any team they're a top 10 defense. Because I mean, you just illustrated why that's not the case. Like, because he needs
but
guys.
That's chemistry problems, not skill problems. The Jazz didn't want to play together anymore at the end of last season. Everyone knows that.
So you think the reason that they weren't fighting through screens is because they had chemistry issues?
Yes. Quinn Snyder had his foot out the door. Quinn
Snyder
had his foot out the door. Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert didn't like each other.
Players are be quitting, bro. Players
You'd be surprised.
Bro, they had no
niggas don't give a fuck.
Bro. They were not quitting from game.
Oh no! I'm not saying in the playoffs, but I was saying throughout the season, you could just feel like they didn't give a fuck, and that's why were the Jazz top 10 in defense this year?
In regular season, I think they were. Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind. And the point I was making was wrong.
All right, we'll move on. We'll move on to 22. John, who you got at 22?
CP3, and
Okay.
that might be the lowest anyone has him, but I don't know what happened to him in that playoff series, and this is why I wanted to push back on the Donovan Mitchell thing. CP3 also was atrocious against the same Mavericks team, but he's gonna get a pass. But Donovan Mitchell's not gonna get a pass. Why is that, bro?
CP3 isn't on my top 25.
Damn.
No, that's actually. Oh wow.
So he doesn't get a pass.
Wow.
No. Gobert over CP3 is ridiculous. Gobert, all right, but I have CP3 there. He's still the point. He was the point guard. Now he's like,
what is he?
But he's still a good player. I don't know.
The point good.
The point boy.
Back on the Gobert and Mavs stuff, maybe the Mavs were just a little bit underrated because, I mean, they embarrassed the Suns, they embarrassed the Jazz. The only team that could beat them was the eventual NBA champions.
Dog, if my team's getting run off the floor by Jalen Brunson with Rudy Gobert as the best player, dog, he's not sniffing my top.
Your team won 6 games.
Don't act like Brunson didn't have a
That has nothing
run.
to what? What do you mean?
You just said my team was getting run off.
So
Brunson would have ran circles around that team.
Okay, you put Rudy Gobert.
crazy.
You put Rudy Gobert on the Lakers. Are they a top 10 defense? Fuck no.
Yeah. Yes. Gobert and AD? Are you kidding me?
Bro,
AD's gonna play one game.
Gobert in 20 games. Anthony Davis.
AD was in street clothes half the season. What are we saying?
Okay, a healthy Lakers. Yeah, they're top 10.
A healthy Lakers is easily top 10.
Nah, we saying the BS that we saw last season, bro. Obviously, they weren't healthy.
Nah. You can have Westbrook in a top 10.
Westbrook and Horton Tucker is not a top 10 defense. I'm sorry.
The
bro.
Lakers do have very special circumstances.
God, this is sick.
Blame Mike Conley. He fell off.
Mike Conley, yeah, he's terrible. We're in 22.
Mike Conley's on my top 10.
Mason's 22, I think.
All right, nah, stop it. Stop it.
At 22, I got Brandon Ingram. I'm a really big Brandon Ingram guy. I think he's phenomenal. He still has a little bit of that tunnel vision that he struggled with a lot earlier in his career, and he's taken a step as a playmaker, but which you guys talked about. But I think if he can take one more step as a playmaker, he's not that far behind Tatum like Johnson. So a really big Brandon Ingram guy. I love what he can do with the ball in his hands, and I'm excited to see where he goes next.
It's a big gap between.
Yeah, but the next step for playmaking is a really big gap. Like that's a long way to go. I don't think he's going to get there.
MVP Tatum coming soon.
All right. Carter, what about you? Who you got?
At 22 and not the highest out of all of us, I have Darius Garland. I think that compared to Bradley Beal and Donovan Mitchell, I think he provides a little bit more on offense with how great his playmaking is. Like John said, he just absolutely carries Cleveland's offense. Mobley and Jared Allen are kind of on the offensive end, kind of serve as lob threats. Karis LeVert was not good. Rubio is hurt. No Sexton. Okoro can't shoot the ball. I mean, it's really just Darius Garland on the offensive end, and he brought him to 43 wins. And they would have been a middle of the pack playoff team had they stayed healthy, but they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I was telling Cleveland fans, man, when y'all got Darius Garland, he was going to be better than Colin Sexton, bro. But
that's
hey,
an incredible prediction. I hated the Darius Garland pick. I hated it. So good. Hey, I give you props for that prediction.
But hey, you won't give me props because I don't have Darius Garland on my top 25. I mean, he's not quite there yet, but
I'll put okay with that.
Nah.
Like I said, the 20 to 30 is so close to me that he's young and he's had one play-in game or two.
Right. Yeah.
For the players I considered, but below Garland, I can't say any of them are better than him. Honestly, he really backpacked. Like I don't know the players below him if they could do that, and that's kind of how much value do you provide to a team? And I don't know if the guys below him come close to be
like
honest.
What? Like Ingram?
No, not Ingram. But I'm saying the guys outside of the top 25 because you don't have him in your top 25. I'm saying that's crazy. I don't think there's no way he can't be top 25.
I don't know. I had him outside. But my 22 is Karl Anthony Towns. Again, the disrespect I feel like was a little much, but shout out to Towns, man. He's a monster. Anyone got any pushback on that?
It's not disrespect. I had him on my list. Who disrespected him?
One spot below you, John.
Yeah, exactly. Who disrespected him?
Outside.
I disrespected him at 26, but 25's okay.
Yeah, I had him at 26.
No. I'm talking to Buckets. Buckets is the one who said he disrespected.
Oh, okay.
We disrespected.
I had him 4 spots lower than you, Buckets. I don't know if that's disrespect.
It's not having him 4 spots It's lower. Not having him 26, bro.
You're disrespecting Darius Garland.
You have Rudy Gobert.
You are disrespecting Darius Garland.
Yes. I'm sleeping on Darius Garland. I'm sleeping.
Nah, Gobert.
Rudy Gobert. I just can't see that, bro. Like, all right.
But Gobert's a good player.
That's the thing. I know what Gobert struggles at. I know he's absolutely atrocious on the offensive end, but I know he's going to play defense in the playoffs. The problem is, I know Cat's not going to play defense in the playoffs, but I'm worried he's going to play offense in the playoffs because he shot like eight times in a game, multiple times in the playoffs.
No, those were embarrassing. Like they weren't even like mid performances. They were good to embarrassing. Like I haven't seen a player do that. Range from that many sections in one series.
If you tell me a player is atrocious on offense, I can immediately cross him out of any top 25 list that I'm doing. Like
we have different values. That's fair. That's fair enough.
All right, 20.
But I also say Gobert might have been top 25 like last year. Ingram, Garland, a couple guys like Zion. Maybe 2 years ago, a couple guys, a lot of new guys are getting in and passing.
Yeah, and definitely as we get higher up in the list too, you'll see at the top of the list we got some new faces. But at 21, John, who you got?
I got Bradley Beal. All the reasons Carter said. Beal is a very efficient scorer. People just discount all his efficient scoring seasons. I don't know why. When he also showed that last year when he had at least Westbrook with him, that they were able to get to the playoffs and he was able to have still a good shooting season. And what was he, second in points per game behind Curry? And he's doing it efficiently. If he was just going out there shooting 41% on like 30 shots a game, then I would understand. But he's an efficient scorer. His playoff stats, even with Wall, are good. Like he was a good second option. He was just a young second option. So it's not something eye-popping, but he averaged like 22 per game in some series, 25 a game in some series. He had 30-point playoff games. He was good in their one win against Philly last year. So I would say maybe from what we've seen from him, I think he's a good playoff performer. I think if he does leave Washington and go to a team, he will be good in the playoffs. So I got him at 21.
He's not.
Mace, how about you?
At 21, I think I'm the only one with him on my list, and I'm a little surprised by that.
Who could it be?
I hate to give props to the worst fan base in the league, but I have Pascal Siakam at 21. All he's done his career in the NBA is win. He does everything on both sides of the ball really well. He can handle the ball. He can play off ball. I think he's really an ideal second option on a championship-winning team. This season, I think Nick Nurse played him the most minutes in the league, and he stayed healthy through it all. He's an Iron Man, and he played well the entire time. Really big Pascal Siakam guy. I love his game.
Okay, I'm not going to go on because Raptors fans are going to be in my DMs. Carter.
Don't even try.
I'm not even mad at that.
Carter, who you got at 21?
At 21, I have Rudy Gobert. We've already talked about Rudy Gobert a lot.
I'll leave it be.
On the pod already, so there's not much more to talk about. But I do think that we can't blame Utah's defensive shortcomings on Rudy when he's being forced to guard everything and anything at the same time because Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell and Royce O'Neal and Bojan Bogdanovic can't stay in front of their man.
Oh, bro, all that shit is fair. But why are we not talking about his offensive limitations?
Bro,
they get
very limited in offense.
That's how good his defense is.
Has no
I think he can be better if he's utilized as a lob threat and Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley.
No, that's cap. Mike Conley spams lobs to Gobert. He's being
he would only be he's a good passer. He would only be utilized more with like Luka and Trey. But that shit still doesn't matter. He fumbles the ball. He can't make layups. He turns the ball over. He has no post game. He has no hook. He fucking sucks on offense. So when we talk about his,
sound like you're talking about Kwame Brown right now.
When we talk about his defensive limitations in the playoffs, yes, that's also true. But add on, he has offensive limitations too. I have no idea how he could be better than a great offensive player that has no offensive limitations. Just because they're limited defensively, they're great on offense. Gobert, okay, he's great on defense, but he's limited on defense. And then you have to blame his teammates because he can't carry on defense. I don't understand. If he's not leading the Jazz to a top 5 defense, his impact can't be higher than guys leading like Cavaliers from a bottom 32 offense, in my opinion.
Top 32.
Below G League teams.
At
NFL brain, my bad.
At 21, I think I also have somebody that nobody's gonna name, but maybe they will. I have Zach Levine. I'm actually. What? Excuse me, bro. What? What is there an issue?
Zach Levine, but no Darius Garland is a hate.
Bro, you just named Pascal Siakam. What are we talking about?
Pascal Siakam is better.
Levine and Garland.
Hell no. You cannot tell me you would rather have Pascal Siakam than Zach Levine, bro. No way. Shout out.
I would rather Zach.
Zach played the whole year injured, and he still had an all-star caliber season. And when everyone was healthy with the Bulls, they were literally like the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. So clearly proving that he can contribute to winning basketball. And his shooting splits are ridiculous. Like, there's nothing not to like about Zach Levine. I can't believe you had that type of reaction, bro. Like,
I love Zach Levine. I do love watching Zach Levine play. But a big kicker for me is I saw a stat, and it was like when one of Lonzo and Alex Caruso, when one of them were on the court, they were like a top 75, 75th percentile defensive team. And when they were both off the court, they were in the very bottom 95th percentile. So that tells me that not that necessarily like AO or any of the other Kobe White are playing any defense, but I do have Zach Levine at 27. I did go that far. I probably overreacted at 21, but still, I don't know.
I have Levine at 27.
I love watching him play.
Yeah, but even to that point, though, like they ran lineups this year, like their most effective lineup, they played Caruso like basically the 3. It was like Lonzo, Levine, Caruso, DeMar, and Vucevic. So it's not like Levine wasn't on the floor for those lineups. I do think his defense is actually getting better. Like he's still not like anything to brag about, but it is improving. He can shoot the 3. He's got a good mid-range game, and he's one of the best dunkers in the league. I don't know. I think he's very complete. The defense obviously is an issue, but
All I know about the Magic is they need to find a way to revert that Vucevic for Franz Wagner and Wendell Carter trade. If they could have
The
those two
Bulls need to
pieces
find a way
back,
to revert it.
yeah, the Bulls, not the Magic. The Bulls would be so good if they had those two.
Yeah. All right, we're moving into the top 20. At number 20, John, who you got?
At number 20, I got Zion Williamson. I'm very high on Zion. What he did in his second season was unprecedented. Literally the only reason he's not higher is injury concerns and durability concerns and defensive concerns. I feel like defensively he was very underwhelming for what he should be. What people like hyped him up to be out of college, I feel like everyone's saying he's such a good and great defender. He can block shots, sure, but I mean, he's not a good defender. And he should be a good defender, so we'll see if he takes that leap. But offensively, his finishing at the rim is like Giannis, LeBron-like. His efficiency is Giannis, LeBron-like. And we see he can shoot the three. And Zion can pass, too. They were trying to run point Zion. He's not like I'm not saying he's like a good playmaker or nothing, but he can make plays for others, and that'll develop in his game. So I think Zion's going to be he's a generational talent. He's going to be a top 5 player in the future. But right now, I got him at 20.
Yep, I agree with basically everything you said. Mason, how about you?
At my 20, I know you guys are going to like this. I have Darius Garland. I watched, I think it was 60-something Cavs games this year, and I watched that man carry every aspect of our offense after Rubio had gone down, literally day in and day out. His back was hurt, and they couldn't rest him because if we did, we were going to lose by 20 to the Pistons. The Caris LeVert acquisition, he's good off ball, but on ball, it's actually like disgusting to watch. He's going to throw the ball to the other team 6 times. So Darius
He doesn't
Garland
have a bag?
He has a bag, but not a
bag,
playmaking bag. No playmaking bag. Zero. And zero playmaking IQ bag as well. But Darius has one of the coldest bags in the entire game. He had a higher off the dribble 3-point percentage than Trae Young and Steph Curry on only like 100 something less attempts. Or 200 less attempts, which sounds like a lot, but those two guys are shooting at such an insane volume. But yeah, like I said, I watched that man carry every bit of our offense with absolutely awful players around him, like Lamar Stevens, Isaac Okoro, Garrett Allen can't get a basket if their life depended on it. So,
okay, Carter, what about you?
At 20, I have Chris Paul. I can understand that it might be a little too high. I might be giving him a bit of a pass. I think that the age is definitely getting to him. When he forgets that he's 47 years old, he is absolutely phenomenal, scoring the ball and obviously passing the ball. Like it's hard to balance not aging Chris Paul and aging Chris Paul because we've seen both of them. We saw both of them in last year's playoffs. But I have him at 20. I think when he's on, I'd rather have him than all those guys in the 21 to 25 range, but obviously when he's off, he's not at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't think you are overrating him. I don't think you have him too high. I have him at 20 as well. I really think like the playoffs, like the end of the playoffs versus Dallas left a sour taste in people's mouth. But the entire season, I mean, he led the league in assists this year. And he continued to do a lot of the Chris Paul-like things that we're accustomed to seeing from him. And even in the first round against the Pelicans, he averaged like 22 and I think 8 assists, something like that, on really good efficiency. And they were without Devin Booker for a good portion of that series. So if it wasn't for the games that Chris Paul stepped up, they could have potentially gone home in the first round. So I got Chris Paul at 20. I don't think that's really a problem, to be honest.
I don't have a problem with that.
So we got.
I just think if you're gonna use, because bro, let me look at this man's stat lines, just so I can get it exactly right, word for word, how bad this was.
Regular season, Chris Paul.
He's talking about
22 and 11 in the first round.
Versus
22 and 11 in the first round.
Okay, no, yes.
He's talking about his birthday.
Yes, he was good first round, but he was ass versus the Mavericks, just like Donovan was mid versus, or he was ass versus the Mavericks. So let's just keep the same energy with both players. Maybe the Mavericks were just an elite defensive team.
I have Donovan ahead of Chris Paul, but I mean we'll get to that. But like,
no, Carter with Carter.
Oh.
I think Donovan Mitchell. I'm not trying to like factor age in, but I think his how we view him as a playoff performer is more subject to change because we've seen him in the playoffs less. I think Chris Paul, for a while, despite the early exits, he's generally a good individual playoff performer. So I think one series knocks him a bit less than it would Donovan Mitchell.
We got number 19. We'll start with John. Who you got at 19?
At 19, I got James Harden. I used to be a big Harden stan, but after what I've been seeing in Philly this year and kind of with Brooklyn, it hurts me, but I got him at 19. And his playoff performance, I didn't really mess with his scoreless halves or him just not being aggressive at all. It looked like he couldn't really get past his man, but he's still an elite playmaker, and he could still get you 20 like a normal all-star. It's just comparing him to other All-NBA players at this level. I think if all the rumors are true about what he's doing this offseason, he can get back to that level or a higher level, but I got to be realistic on what I've seen from him recently, and I got him at 19.
Mason, how about you?
19, I have Zion. Potential to become a really great NBA player at everything, like you guys said. Already really, really good at what he does. Just need to see him on the court. If we could get a couple healthy seasons out of him, I think he could really take the next step and become a superstar type player. But for now, I got him at 19, and I think the Pels will be a lot of fun next year.
Carter, how about you?
I also have Zion at 19. Mason basically covered it. Just got to hope we see him healthy. Hope he can fulfill his defensive potential. He's already a phenomenal scorer, super efficient. Just got to hope he can stay healthy and do it for a full year.
Yeah, for me at 19, I got Donovan Mitchell, man. I think I'm higher on Donovan Mitchell than you guys are. Besides John, his playmaking is improving. And yes, he's not the best defender, but I think his offense overall makes up for it. 18, John, who you got at 18?
At 18, I have Kyrie. I also love Kyrie. I love his game. Greatest bag in NBA history, but I got him at 18. I don't think he impacts the game as much as the 17 guys I have in front of him. He's a good scorer, good passer, or a great scorer, great good passer. He's one of the most efficient guards in the league, like top 3 efficiency in the regular season. I think I would value his efficiency more if it carried over into the playoffs. And also his playoff performances without LeBron have been subpar. The Nets had a losing record when Kyrie played this year, so it wasn't even like he's been carrying a team. So I got him at 18. He's still a great scorer. We have to see him. I don't have no clue what he's going to do this season, but I just need to see him play, like have a good series against like a good team. Have a good if the Nets play in the first round against like, and he's on the Nets still. If they play in the first round against like the first or second seed and he has a good series, he might be up. But I need him to have like a good superstar level series, like players I have above him without LeBron.
Well, you won't have to worry about him being without LeBron anymore because he's coming back. Mason, how about you?
At 18, I have Devin Booker. Might be a little low, I guess, compared to some of you guys. Or do you guys just not have him top 25? I'm not sure.
It's low.
Okay. I thought so. I really like what he does from a scoring aspect. And when he plays without Chris Paul in the regular season, he's a really good playmaker too. I feel like, honestly, after next season, I'll have him a couple spots higher because I think we'll see him take a step in the playmaking. But I mean, we know what he does well. I love Booker. He's a very good player and a very good scorer.
Carter, how about you? Who's your 18?
I also have Booker at 18. I definitely think it like feels low. I could see him over my next 2 guys. Top 15, I feel like might be pushing it a bit. There's nothing I don't like about Devin Booker. He's a great scorer. He's a solid playmaker. He's just phenomenal on the offensive end. Just 17 guys. I have at least a little bit above him.
In my 18, I already know you guys have this guy's at least several spots higher, but I'm going with Anthony Day-to-Day Davis, man. Like his outside jump shooting, man.
I got a cookie.
It's tough, bro. It really is. Like he can't shoot outside the paint now anymore. His big
Do you know who Anthony Davis is?
I know who Anthony
17.
Davis was. I know who he was, but who is he?
He's been playing injured, and you know he doesn't fit with Westbrook. You all know that. Westbrook hurt his stats all season. He played with atrocious spacing. He played center all year with no other big men. He was carrying the Lakers defense. Like, let's not forget who Anthony
Carrying our
Davis
defense
is.
to what, bro? We were trash on defense. We were like 27th.
Yes, because you had Austin Reeves as small forward, but that doesn't mean he wasn't carrying the defense when he was playing.
I don't think he
Trust
was.
me. Pack Westbrook up. Get at least one fucking 3-point shooter. One. AD will go back to top 10 status. Over it. Lonnie. Sound like them Lakers Twitter trying to gas up their fucking garbage ass offseason. Shut up, bro. Get this nigga out of here.
You're making too many excuses. You sound like Lakers Twitter.
How am I making excuses?
You're making too many excuses, bro. Because when he was playing,
how are these excuses,
bro? Before Westbrook got on the team, he was still playing mid, bro. In 2021, he had nearly the same numbers, bro.
He had better numbers. But we know AD was coasting. He could have played better. He was just coasting.
Coasting?
When the Lakers played high pressure games that season, in the last stretch of the season, AD was still dominating. So why are we acting like AD was just ass all season?
Bro, but I can't
remember the I'm back game? Exactly. He was cooking. He was cooking the Suns.
This is sick, bro.
I'm back game.
Bro, Kyrie dropped
cooking the Suns
this year, bro. Kyrie dropped 60 this year. You're pointing out one random game on a random Tuesday, bro. Like, come on. Like, he needs a I'm back.
He was cooking the Suns. He was cooking the Suns until he got injured. He was dropping 30 pieces, and he was the best player. He was the best player.
Sometimes your best ability is your availability.
That's a theme, bro.
All right, if we want to talk about availability, bro, at least in Kyrie's case, bro, Kyrie has no case of fucking durability or availability over Anthony Davis. He's the last player you can say that.
Though. He has a case in his production, bro. His production is far greater.
And the regular season, Kyrie has been better the last 2 seasons. Fine. Anthony Davis' playoff performances against the Suns alone makes him is greater than what Kyrie has done.
Bro,
in the last 2 seasons.
Should we look at Anthony Davis's playoff performances?
I mean, this year
he's an elite playoff performer. He's an elite
general, yes.
He has multiple 30-point per game series. Name me players that have done that. Name me players below Anthony Davis that have 30-point per game series. Multiple of them.
We don't know if this is the same Anthony Davis.
That's what I'm saying.
It'll be the same. It'll be the same one.
I hope it is.
It'll be the same one.
It can be. But I'm just saying, over the past 2 seasons, it hasn't been, bro.
You're a Lakers fan. I'll take 80 shit. If 80's trash, bring him to Boston.
All right, we'll take Tatum. Perfect, man. Perfect for business.
All right. Change the subject. Let's just move on. Change the subject.
All right, man. We'll move on to number 17, John. Who you got at 17?
17, I got Donovan Mitchell, man. My guy, Donovan. I think he's very underrated by most people now, and most people dislike him because the stat came out about him only passing to Gobert. Gobert's trash ass offensive liability ass, like one time a game. But he's an elite scorer, and it's translating to the postseason. As long as your game translates to the postseason or it ups in the postseason, I'm going to have you in a high regard. Donovan Mitchell is one of those players. Like Bucket said, his first series, he was the best player on the floor against Russell Westbrook and Paul George, 2 All-NBA players. His first playoff series. Yes, he didn't play great against the Rockets the next round, but that was a 65-win team. He went into the bubble. He did his thing. The team sold Mike Conley, everyone's favorite point guard. The team sold him. 2020-21, last year. He's dropping 36 a game. He's dropping 34 pieces, efficient 34 pieces. Remember game one, Utah versus Memphis. They lost the game. Gobert basically crying post game. We need our best player. It's tough without our best player. Donovan came back and cooked Dylan Brooks' ass. He had a great postseason run. People are like, I don't know why people just erase it because he can't play defense. Trey doesn't play defense, and I have Trey higher than Donovan. Offense matters. It's buckets. The Celtics had the best defense in the league, and it didn't matter. I thought our defense was fucking crazy. It didn't matter. Curry was still getting buckets. Poole was getting buckets. Clay was getting buckets. Wiggins was getting buckets. It's offense matters. So that's where I got Donovan, man.
Seems like Buckets knew about that one too. No cap. Mason, man, who you got at 17?
17, I have James Carbohydrate. He had a rough last 2 seasons. His aggressiveness and his play style was almost as concerning as just like how he was playing. I guess if that makes sense, because like John said, we weren't seeing the same aggressive Harden that was like aggressively seeking out buckets, which could just be because he's had the nagging hamstring injuries and he's getting older. But I've seen a lot of him in the gym, and I've seen that picture of him with that girl slimmed down. So I hope next year we get a little bit. I don't think he'll go back to Prime Harden because Prime Harden was like top 3, but I hope we get a little bit better version of Harden next year.
3 what?
Player.
Top 3 in the league.
No, hell no. No. Come on. I mean, let's be real. Come on. Like
Harden was
a
a top 3 player in the league in 2018, 2019. And
No,
Giannis stole his MVP.
No.
And Giannis stole his MVP.
I mean,
But that's for another day. That's for another day.
He had a month where he was getting like 36 a game.
He had a month
37
averaging 44 points.
44, yeah, and nobody's done that
phenomenal.
except Kobe. Like, I really don't think it's that crazy of a take to say he was a top 3 player that season.
He was
Buckets is just a notorious hard hater.
Hey, bro. Hey, what can I say, bro? Carter, what about you? Who you got?
17, I have Kyrie. Like John said, haven't really seen much great from him in the playoffs since he was with LeBron. Maybe we'll see him with LeBron again next season, but he has not been a playoff riser in a long time. I'm not going to knock him for availability. He would have been available for the majority of this season had it not been for the vaccine mandate. That's like an anomaly. Like, I'm not going to knock him for that. I think, yeah, I'm not going to knock him for the availability.
Right.
Playoff dropping is an issue, but he can move up if he can have a good playoff series.
Yeah, I got Kyrie at 17 too. I don't really think there's anything else needs to be said about that. At 16, John, who you got?
Damn, keep on. At 16, I got Ja Morant. Ja Morant is ridiculous, man. I think he's gonna be higher on my list next year. He was killing the Warriors until he got injured, like literally killing them. He had like 10 field goals made, then like 15 field goals made in back-to-back games. Like, that's crazy numbers. He wasn't that good against the Timberwolves, and that's kind of why I have him this low, because he does have a very great team around him. So it's hard to gauge like how much value he's adding in comparison to other players that I see add more value in my opinion. But he's a great playmaker, great scorer. His shooting got better. I think he's in the lab working on his shooting again, so he might take another leap, but I got him at 16.
Mason, what about you?
At 16, I have Street Clothes Davis. He fell off a bit for me with the shooting struggles the last 2 seasons. I mean, Bubble Davis is probably a top 8 player, but based off what I saw last 2 years, I dropped him a couple slots. Again, another player that I think can climb back up higher, no problem. Just for right now, I have him at 16.
Yeah, I want to be clear about that too, man. I'm not saying AD can't get back to top 10, bro, but you're asking me to rank it based off of right now, so that's why I had him there. But Carter, what about you? Who's your 16?
16, I have James Harden. Similar spot to AD. He's not really what he was a couple years ago, or we haven't seen it.
I got Harden at 16 as well. I really think his playmaking, despite him not being aggressive enough as a scorer on a consistent basis, he's still giving you double-digit assists. He's still putting some sort of pressure on the defense, even if it's not as much as we would have liked to see. So I still have Harden at 16 with the potential to move up. So we'll move on to the top 15 now. John, who you got at 15?
At 15, I got Devin Booker. Like everything y'all said, I agree. I think people are just underrating the fact that he was the best player on a 60-win team this year. Like, not a lot of players can do that. I think he's clearly better than Chris Paul now. And I think the Mavericks just had a good game plan for him, like they had for Chris Paul and they had for Donovan Mitchell. They were a great defense, and they should get more credit for what they did. But I think Booker is a great scorer. It's been translating to the postseason. I think he got sold in a couple of his 40-point finals games. But yeah, I got him at 15 right now. Maybe he can rise if he has another good postseason.
What about you, Mason? 15.
At my 15, I'd be lying to you if I said this wasn't a little bit of a nostalgia and a homer pick, but as a guy doing a podcast with his friends, I have the beauty to do that. I have Kyrie Irving. I know he hasn't been the same playoff performer that he was with LeBron, but next year I expect a really, really good Kyrie Irving. I saw a lot of good, a little bit of bad last year, but I think I don't know. I still think Kyrie's got it, and I mean that's really it. We know what he can do.
I respect that. Carter at 15, who you got?
15, I got Anthony Davis. Certainly could see him jumping back into the 9-10 range next year if he can stay healthy, if he can match his production from 2020. But right now, he's really tough to rank. We haven't seen the Anthony Davis we're used to in the past 2 years. So 15 is my spot for him right now.
Yeah, like John, I got Devin Booker at 15. I think he tends to get a little bit underrated, honestly. And you look at what he did in the finals 2 years ago now, I feel like he actually was even better of a player this past season. His three-point percentage was near tops career highs on good volume too, and his defense is getting better. You guys are criticizing Donovan earlier for not showing the effort and the aggressiveness. Booker has more so than he did before. So shout out to him. I got him at 15. 14, John, who you got?
Trae Young. Trae Young, I think he's he's an elite offensive player. This year he led the league in points and assists. Like he's the first player to do that since like Nate Archibald or something like Tiny Archibald. Like that's crazy. That's like plumber stats. But like so for a player to I'm joking, I respect the legends. But for a player like Trae to do that in the modern era is just ridiculous. He's an elite shooter, elite facilitator, and I have him this high because I don't think the Hawks they've done a better job, but he still doesn't have as much help as like some of the like a Booker. I would say Booker has more help than him. I would say like Curry has more help than him. Even Kyrie with Kevin Durant next to him, that's more help than what Trae has on the Hawks. So I think with DeJounte now he has more help. And I don't think the players I rank below him could elevate Atlanta's offense the way Trae has.
I feel like you described the top 10 player, but we'll get into that in a bit. Who you got?
I didn't, though. I didn't.
At 14, I have Dame. I've argued Kyrie over Dame for years and years, but I think at this point I have to give it to Dame. Dame time. We've seen the really highs of the playoffs, and we've seen a couple low series where he wasn't phenomenal. But I think next year with a retooled Blazers roster, they could at least be interesting. We'll have to see what other moves they make, but Dame, one of the top-tier point guards in the game still.
John, you had that reaction when he said Dame, like you didn't just pick Trae Young, bro. Like, what are we doing?
I'm tripping. I thought I ranked Dame a little higher.
Okay. Carter, what about you? Who you got at 14?
I have Paul George at 14. The three guys I have right above him. Just incredible offensive engines. I love and respect Paul George's two-way game, but I don't think it quite impacts the game the way that the guys above him do.
Yeah, fair enough. I got John Morant at 14. I think what he does, whether it be below the rim, above the rim, I think he's probably the best finisher in the league right now, or at least like a guard finisher. Like the things he does around the basket are insane, and his passing is good too. And playoffs, I like what I've seen from Ja. Obviously, the Minnesota series wasn't great, but overall he's been pretty good in the postseason. 13, John, who you got?
At 13, I have Dame, so I was tweaking with that reaction. I have Dame at 13. It just feels like it's no. It's just because Dame, like in my old list, like I've always had Dame like at 10, so it feels like really low. Yeah. But I have him at 13. Everything you said, Mason, I agree with the playoff performances too. So, some good, some bad. But I think like last year, Dame had a really, really elite season. Man averaged 30 and 8. He was carrying Portland all season. CJ had his worst season as a Blazer, and he was injured. He was carrying another injured roster, another young, inexperienced roster, and he gave 6 games with he went 6 games with Jokic and MPJ, who's a very good player. And he averaged 34 and 10 in that series. So I think if Dame has another season reminiscent of that, he's around 13. I know he's been injured with that abdominal, and I've known I've known about this abdominal injury, but like he just hasn't got it fixed until now. Like he's had that shit since like 2019. I remember the reports came out. So we'll see if he's gonna be eating now that he got that shit out.
What about you, Mason?
At my 13, I actually have Morant. Struggled really hard against Minnesota in the playoffs, but was also playing the GOAT, Patrick Beverley. But was really, really good against Golden State before he went down with the injury. So I think that you can chalk that up to a matchup thing. One of the more exciting young players in your league. I don't think you like basketball if you don't enjoy watching Morant. And he averaged like 26 or 27 this year. He was all around just phenomenal, an incredible point guard. And I think he'll continue to rise throughout the years.
I also have John Morant, phenomenal scorer, great playmaker, super athletic. I think outside of that Minnesota series, there's only 2 other series he's been in, but he's been a playoff riser in general. Big fan of John's game. I think he'll move up as well once we see more of him, but I got him 13.
Yeah, for me at 13, I got PG-13. I think he had a shortened season this year with the Clippers, but they were in position to make the playoffs when he was healthy. And we saw what he did in the playoffs in 2021, so I got PG.
For tonight, game night, I got a little bit of trivia. There's 4 players that you guys have to guess. The goal is to get 3 points. You guys are all working together on the same team. My goal is to stop you. In my opinion, these are pretty hard, but you guys are ball knowers, so I respect you guys enough that I think you can get it done. So to get this out of the way, every player on this list is a current NBA player. I feel like it'd be unfair if we had that big of a pool. So every player is in the league right now. So the first hint for the first player, his mother said he was 43 inches tall and 47 pounds as a 2-year-old. Feel free to butt in if you think you know it. If not, I'm going to go to hint 2. And I think that the hints get a little more helpful as I go.
No clue.
I never heard that before.
Okay. Not ball, but good guess. At number 2,
we only tripled his weight, John, since he was.
Jack.
At number 2, I have his nickname is the Big Ticket. Which is interesting.
Kevin Garnett.
No,
it's current.
It's only current.
Oh, James Wiseman.
Bing, 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 bing. Good one, man. I'm proud of you for that one.
No. Wiseman can't.
I wouldn't have known that. I'm proud of you for that one.
Wiseman.
That does sound right.
Wiseman can't have that name.
Yeah. And the final hit was that he was drafted 2nd overall. Not that matters, but good job, Buckets, man. I wouldn't have known that.
I wouldn't have known that either.
Is that his Instagram username or something? I swear I've seen that.
It might be.
Might be. I'm not sure. Anyway, on to the second player. The first hint is his father led Siena to its first ever tournament appearance in March Madness in 1989. Siena.
Huh?
Siena.
Yeah, their first ever tournament appearance in '89.
I don't know what that is now.
I have no clue.
Larry Nance Jr.
This man's exposing us.
This
man's exposing us. We don't know ball.
We don't know ball.
Yeah.
We don't know ball.
Second one, he wears the number 3 because of his hero, Dwayne Wade.
Terry. No. No. I know who it is, bro. I know who it is. Give me some time.
Jordan Poole?
Who wears
good
3?
Guess, but no.
Who wears 3?
No. Who's hero?
Who wears 3? Who wears 3? Who wears 3? Name nigga. It's a shooting guard.
He definitely went to like Marquette or something, bro. Or something.
No, he definitely didn't. Is it? All right, give us another hint.
And the last hint, this offseason, he was traded from an Eastern Conference team to a Western Conference team.
Traded.
Where's the number 3?
D Wade.
And in my opinion, went from a pretty good team to a team that's been known for not being so good.
I still don't think I know this, to be honest.
Bro,
when I say it, John is going to be unhappy. I think deep down he knows it.
I'm going to get it. Hold on. Number 3.
Who got traded? Who's number 3? Bro, who's number 3? Bro, who wears 3?
I'm trying to think of my jersey tournament matchup. If he would have been
Bev.
No, it's not Pat Bev. He doesn't wear 3.
A good East team to a bad West team.
Who got traded?
Miami hasn't done shit. Boston traded for Brogdon.
You're thinking a little too good in terms of rankings and standings.
Oh, so he's not that good? Is that what you're saying?
No. I mean, the player is like starter level, but I mean too good team wise in terms of standings of last year. Right now he's going 1-2.
Dang, bro.
Dog. It's a shooting guard. It
is a shooting guard.
I remember when D Wade retired, he was going on that tour. He was going on that retirement tour, and I remember this nigga was like, "Yeah, I wear 3 because of D Wade." I remember the entire interview. I just can't remember, bro. What is DeMar wear? It's not 3, right? Bro, who wears 3? Beal?
Not Beal.
No, Beal didn't get traded.
I have no clue. I'm giving up.
I'm not giving up.
I'll give you guys another 30 seconds.
Oh,
if you don't know it by then, you had your run.
Try and think Nets or Bulls or something to a shitty West team.
Oh yeah, he's on
You're so
What's
close.
The bottom of the West?
Slightly lower in the standings than the Bulls and Nets.
Who's
Rockets,
the fucking
Kings,
8th seed?
Pelicans,
Atlanta?
CJ McCollum. Fuck,
Not CJ.
DeJounte Murray.
Mm-mm.
Fuck.
Who got traded for DeJounte? Nobody. Fucking Gallo.
Dude, I'm looking at the standings.
I give up.
8 was Atlanta.
5.
I'm not even looking at the standings.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah,
Final guess. Anybody?
Tell us. I have no clue.
Kevin Huerter.
Oh my God, that's gross. That's gross.
I don't know if I would have got that.
You got traded from the Hawks to the Kings.
There's no way.
This nigga Kevin Huerter.
No chance. No chance.
I thought you guys might have had
As
it.
him in his driveway, shooting Dwayne Wade fadeaways.
That nigga wasn't D Wade in the playoffs last year. What are you talking about?
He's never been anything Dwayne Wade ever. But
plays nothing like Dwayne Wade.
Do you guys want to
respect his Game 7 performance?
All right. So we got 2 more. Remember, to win, you guys have to get 3 points, and there's only 4 players. So if you didn't get Huerter, I win.
We got the first one.
These next 2.
We got the first one.
You got the first one, but you have to be 2 for 2 here at the end. Okay. So the first hit on this
clutch.
player, he was named Minnesota Mr. Football in high school.
What?
Minnesota.
I don't know this.
High school of Minnesota. Bro. I have no clue.
Dog. I can't name a player from Minnesota.
Evan Porter.
I don't know, bro.
Ant.
Let's see. Not Ant.
Hola, Minnesota.
The next hint is he was/is, I couldn't find an update on it, dating Louisville basketball and Tic Tac star Haley Van Lith.
I don't know who that is. Bro.
Oh yeah, you do. She's blonde. This
is a horrible hit.
Very, very, very famous. Tons of NIL deals.
Oh, I know Haley. I don't.
This is a horrible deal.
She was
dating an NBA player.
She was/is. I couldn't tell if they're still
I had no idea, so I that won't help me either.
Bro, I don't
okay,
know.
last
we should get another hit for that. That was like
okay.
I
mean, I think you'll get it on this last hint anyway, as long as you watch the NBA draft that year. Childhood friends with college basketball star Paige Buchers.
Oh, Jalen Suggs?
Bing, 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 bing. Good one.
Yes, sir.
Man, Buckets has put the team on his back.
Put us on your back then, Buckets.
Buckets backpacking right now. All right, for the last one, y'all got to get this to win, and you guys are going to be so pissed off at the first hit. If anyone gets it off this, I'll be so shocked.
Oh, no.
All right. This player's wife was the first Dominican contestant to win Miss Universe.
Kevin Love.
Wait.
Al Horford.
Repeat that again?
That's a good shout.
This player's wife was the first Dominican contestant to win Miss Universe. Dominican. John, I didn't hear you. What did you shout?
Al Horford.
Good job, John.
Yay!
I didn't hear you say Dominican.
I'm him.
If anyone's curious, the second hit was he has 5 younger siblings.
That's how you close a game out.
And then
that's how you close a game out.
The last hint was that he made the finals for the first time in 2022.
That's good. That's good.
Good work, guys.
It's because the only reason I knew is because Horford's like the greatest Dominican basketball player of all time. They got like fan pages dedicated to him and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you said that, bro. I was about to say Karl Anthony Towns, bro. No cap.
Nigga, is he Dominican?
I don't know.
He won
bro.
it in 2011.
Dang, wow. Jeez, that's impressive.
All right, well, good work, guys.
Yeah. Winners work, baby. Winners work, baby. Out game, man.